here. Ground wire, tied back in. Down. I think I just ran too much wire into this cabinet, to be honest. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Make this a little easier. For all I know, we'll be back doing this again if it's a quality control issue or there's a problem with these relays in these. These are the BAY EAA CO5 5kW TRANE heat strips for the. Use these in the TAM air handlers, the GAM air handlers. That's about all the wire I really need in there. I'm gonna shorten these up a little bit and try to clean all this up. Much better. This plug back up. Take that off. I don't need it on this one. That's already got one on it. Alright, there's our low voltage tied back in. Come down here. High voltage tied back in. Now, we'll go over here and pop this door off. Basically bypass the thermostat. I'm just going to jump this thing out. Like I said, this DM air handler, a lot of the trains, the older models would prove common through their relays to the contactor for the heat strips. These newer models got to have a call for G on this. The heat strips won't come on, so your thermostats, you're going to be setting those up to control the blower, basically in all modes. So white wire nut off, my blue, and I'll bring the camera down here in just a second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. R and my G, and I always, whenever I'm going to bypass a unit or bypass a thermostat or whatever, I just take R straight off the unit. I don't want to risk shorting anything back to the thermostat or causing a problem. She's got that TRANE 824 thermostat, and those are not inexpensive thermostats, so I just try to limit doing anything. So that's why I take the blower door off and go straight from the R in here, and I really don't want to mess up any of this. But anyway, so disconnect back in. This is what I'm talking about here. See if we can get some more light. So I made these set of jumpers. So I basically took a bag of jumpers, cut them all in half. I think these were 18-inch jumpers. Stripped the tips on each set where I had matching colors, and I've got them all hooked together under here, crimped, taped, so whenever I'm trying to troubleshoot something, a piece of equipment, I just simply can hook up my R, then I can jump out my heat strips, jump out my fan, jump out my contactor. And I usually just use black. I've never seen these come with an orange for a heat pump, so I use the black to energize my reversing valve. Just allows me to jump to multiple locations at once with one connection, and that's what I'm going to do here. So let me get my meter over here so we can check our amp draw on these heat strips. Well, actually we'll just tie in right there. Alrighty. Door switch is shut. So we're going to energize the heat strips. Notice nothing is coming on, as you can see, as we don't have a call for fan, which we're going to get that now. You just heard the heat strips click. The blower is now revving up. And as you can see, we have heat. So that's the thing you remember about TRANE if you're just trying to jump your W and your R together to get the heat strips to come on. They've got to have that fan energized in some of their models, a lot of them actually, but just keep that in mind sometimes if you ever get to one of these and you're jumping out W, the heat strips are coming on. Don't start chasing a problem that you don't have. Just remember, a lot of these TRANE units, you've got to have G energized to get that heat strip relay to close. So that's how all that works. These are installed, they're working properly. And but yeah, that's kind of how you do that. We'll drop one more time. Hear that relay click. Blower's revving up. Heat strips are back on. And this is a TRANE GAM air handler. Those old heat strips there. It's pretty decent crawl space. Hell, you got a full-size walk-in door. Walk right up here, stand in front of this thing and work on it. Doesn't always happen that way. A lot of the times this unit is way down here, and this floor is way down here, and can kind of be a pain in the ass once in a while, but it is what it is. That is part of the job. Anyway, we are finished here pretty much. I'm gonna put this thing back together and go run this thing from the thermostat. Make sure everything else is still functioning properly, and I'm gonna be out of here. So anyway, a little light I got. Harbor Freight, about $35 rechargeable. USB port in the back. The lights on the back tell you how much battery life you got left. Strong magnet on this thing. That thing comes in handy. I want to check out Harbor Freight and grab one of those. Otherwise, most everything else. And I'm going to do a tool bag review. I've got 3 bags I'm going to go through with you. You can see I use Milwaukee, Klein. Got a lot of most of my tools are all higher end brand name stuff. I was just in Harbor Freight looking for some magnets actually one day, and I saw this light and I grabbed it and